So in this session, we are going to find the median of data type 2. Data type 2 is one of the formats that we have identified so far in which we see that the data is already arranged for us in a nice way. So instead of data type 1 where we have to do the extra work ourselves, data type 1 arrange them in a table already. So as it's in a table, it means that the data has been arranged, right? So it's easy to fetch some items, easy to add some manipulation in finding the mean, finding the mode, and now we are going to find the median. And already with the data type 2, it's easy for us again. So let's see how to find the median. So median, we basically say, is the middle value of the data set. So you see that if you remember in data type 1, we have to check through the data and see if they are arranged in an increasing order, right? From the lowest to the highest, right? We have to arrange them ourselves. That was a precaution we took there. But with data type 2, the entire thing is arranged for you in an increasing order already. So if you look at all the data type 2 uh, values, you see that the items are arranged in increasing order. So already there's from the smallest to the highest most of the time. Most of the time, that's how it is arranged, and that's the format that we usually meet it. And I'm very hopeful that that is it. That's what you are going to find. But cross check, who knows? Cross check, right? But the mostly for the type 2, it's easy to guess. The arrangement is already done. Now we can just go ahead and find the median value. Now with the median value, now we don't have the items individually, right? Now the items have their accounts attached to them. Now how do we locate the median value from the count? So usually the frequency is going to help us find the median value. We are going to use the example that we're using so far for the first video and then the second video. So let's look at how we can go about finding the median of data type 2, this one especially. So yeah, we are still going to maintain the first example, the same examples. Let's see how we can go about that. So for data type 2, right, if you see this table items, we have the items arranged in an increasing order already. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 already arranged for us. Now for the count, right, the count they can vary based on the number of 2 and 3 that are there, but we want to find the middle item. So the item that is located in the middle of this data set, right? So if you remember data type 1, what we're doing is that we're trying to use the finger method, right? Where you put one here, put the other one here, then you move them until you get to the middle. So sometimes when you get to the middle, we find one item in the middle. So that one item that we find in the middle becomes our median. But sometimes you find two items in the middle. So to find the median value, we add those items and divide them by 2. When we did it for the data type 1, can we revisit that video if you haven't? Right? So we use the finger method to simplify the stuff for us. So basically, sometimes when we move to the middle, right, we find two items there, or move to the middle, we find one item in the middle. So we were able to pick that item. But in this case, we cannot use the finger method here. It cannot easily work for us. So what happens is that keep in mind that we usually find two things in the middle or one thing in the middle, right? So now it's very official now to now introduce this to you. You will be able to find two items in the middle when the total number of items is an even number, or the total number of items is divisible by 2. So that's when you find two items in the middle. But if the total number of items is an odd number, then you find only one item in the middle. That will be the median. But if you have the total number of items to be an even number, then you are going to have two items in the middle, and with those two items in the middle, you have to find the average of those two items. So the two items together divided by 2, that will be the average. It is the average value that we take as the median now. Revisit the first video on data type 1. If you are able to understand what data type 1, whatever I'm saying here, you will link into it, and it will be easier for you to understand the concept that you are building on. Okay, so now how do we get on getting it? You say find the total number of items, right? We need to check whether we are going to see two items in the middle or one item in the middle. How do we do that? By trying to find the total number of items. In the previous video, we know that the total number of items is the sum of all frequencies. So if you want to find the total number of items, we just put all the frequencies together. So it's just trying to find sigma f. So we know that the sum of all frequency, right? So sigma f, all the f together. So what do we have? So we have 7 plus 1, that's 8. 8 plus 6, that's 14. 14 plus 5, 19. 19 plus 3, 22. 22 plus 4, 26 plus 3, that's 29. So we have total number of items here to be 29. You see, so what we have, 29 is what? An odd number. It is not divisible by 2. So if you have 20, the total number of 20 is 29. It's an odd number, right? So meaning when you are going to the middle, there's only one item. You are not going to find the average. You are not going to find 2 items in the middle, but only one item in the middle. So there's no need to find the average here when we are doing this one. But how do we find that? How do we find that item? So it's already, the items are already arranged for us in increasing order. So we are okay with that. So we now have to play the frequency. We use the frequency to lead to the middle item, and then that middle item is what we find as our median. How do we go out? Here we all agree that because it is an even number, or because it's an odd number, sorry, because we have 29 as an odd number, we will find one item in the middle. So there's no need to find the average of 2 items in the middle. It's only one item in the middle. If you watch the previous video, you on mode, right, median to find the mode, you understand what we mean by that. So now we have 29. How do you get the item that is, how do you get the middle, right? So if you have an odd number, right, what you have to do is just add 1 to that to make it even. So plus 1 divided by 2. So you have 30 over 2. That will give us 15, right? So we are trying to locate the item that is at the 15th position. So if you start from the counting from the beginning to the towards the middle, the 15th item becomes our median. If you don't want to do the other thing you can do is that just do the 29 divided by 2. Whatever you get 14.5. If you run it up to the nearest whole number, you get 15. If you don't want to add 1, so it's easier to just add 1. If it is an odd number, right? My f is an odd number, you know that you are going to have one item in the middle. So before you proceed, you need to find which position are you going to stop on. So you add 1 divided by 2 to get 30 over 2, which is 15. So we are looking for the 15th item. The things are already arranged, so we are going to count from the here, right? We have 15, right? So we are looking for 15 items. Now 15, right? 2. Let me use a black pen for you so that I can write on that for you. So we are having 15, right? So if we bypass this guy, right, if this guy is out of the 15, we are looking for the 15 item. So 15, right? Before we come to this class, we are left with 14 items because this is 1. Now let's see. 14, right? All the 7 can go into that, the remaining 14. All the 7 can go into the remaining 14. So if you remove that, you are going to get 7. Now we are in this class. 7 now. 7 now. So we started with 15, right? The 15, this 1 goes into that 15, right? So 15 minus 1 is 14. 14 if we went to the next class. We go to the next one. So now I now have 14. 14 minus 7. Then I have what? 7 left. So before going to the now 7 minus 6 here. 7 minus 6 here. So the next class will just be 1. Right? 1. So that 1 here. Now 1 here. What do we have? You can see that that 1 minus 5 is going to be is impossible, right? So the median is here. So the median is the item that is associated. So our median is 6. Our median is 6. So this is our median. So our median is 6. So median is 6. That's what you have to keep in mind. Do you see how I did it? So I found the middle item, right? So the middle item, I know that okay, I started from the first because the items are already arranged. I use the frequency. 15 minus 1, that's 14 before I move to the next class. Now I have 14. 14 minus 7. 14 minus 7, I have 7 before moving to the next one. So I have 7 now. 7 minus 6, I have 1. So which is 1. Now in this case, when I reach here, you see that 1 minus 5 is impossible, right? Not that it's impossible. I know you may say you have negative 4, but we don't have the negative number. Always the frequency should be more than the class frequency you are in. So here 7 was more than 6. So we move on to the next one, right? Which is 1. And then here 1 is what? 1 is 1, right? 1 is 1, yeah. So yeah, that's where we are now. That's what we got. So the median for this data test is 6. Let's do the next example. So in this next example, I have to use a white pen for you because yeah. So yeah, we we have to find the total number of items. Last time we did it, we know that the total number of items was 58, if I'm not mistaken. So 58. So what did we say? To find the middle item, we have to divide by 2. Now in this case, 58 is an even number. Because it is an even number, we don't have to add 1. So because it's an even number, we are expecting two things in the middle. Two things will be found in the middle of it. So if you divide this by 2, I think we are going to have 29. 29, yes. So 29. We are going to start with 29, right? We are going to start with 29. Remember, we are going to find two things in the middle. Are we okay? So now, what do I have here? So 29 minus 4. So I'm using the 29, right? Minus 4. What will I have? It will give me 25. So I will enter here with 25. 25 minus 16. I think it will give me 9. Oh no, is it 9? 25 minus 16. Yes, 9. 9. Am I right? Yeah, it's 9. So we come 9. We come here with 9. Now 9 minus 6, right? What will happen is that the 9 is less than the 16. The 9 is less than the 16. So the item here that we found here, we are supposed to say 3, right? We are needing two items in the middle. So if you remove all the 9 here, 9 minus 16, we need two things in the middle, right? So how will I explain this to you? All the 9 items will be exhausted here, right? 9 minus 16, so the 16 will be more by how much? 7. 7, right? That will exhaust all the 9, so it's left with 7. But that 7 is not from the frequency. The frequency that we brought, right, is already 0. But we want the item. So the item that we have at position after the 29 is 3, right? We want the next position as well, the next item as well. So the next item after where we stop is still going to be 3, because we are going to still be here. We are going to still be here. So because there are two things units in the middle, right? After doing 9 minus 0, you have 7, right? You have 7. The next item as well, the next item as well will also be here, because that next item sees that even though the frequency that we brought becomes 0, becomes 0 in this case, after fetching that item first, so item 1 is 3 plus. Now we need to borrow another one because it's an even number. Because it's an even number in the middle, right? We are going to get the next item. To get the next item after our frequency that we brought into the table is 0. After it has turned to 0 finally in the class of 16 here, which is now giving us 3. After that, after it attains 0, we need to find the next item. So if you had to move on again one step again, where will we still be? Are we going to still be in that same class or not? So it's as if you are borrowing 1 to add to your frequency again. If you do that, we are going to still remain here. So it's still going to be 3. So if you want to move one step further again, even if you give 1, add 1 to whatever you brought, right? You are still going to remain in this class. So it's going to be 3 plus 3 all over 2. So the item that you are on and the next item after that, they are referring to the same frequency or the same item. At the end of the day, you have 6 over 2, which is 3. So the median is 3. So the median that we have is equal to 3. Yeah, basically that's how we go about finding the median of data type 2, right? So if it is an even number, expect that you are going to have two things in the middle. If it is an odd number, there's going to be only one item in the middle. So if it is an odd number, like what we did in the previous session, we have odd number is 29. So because you have 29, you have to add 1 to get 30. And that 30 that you divide by 2 to find the middle. To find the middle of something, you cut it into half. That's why we are dividing by 2 to get 15. Now with that 15, we use that 15 to enter the table. Now for the first one, 15 minus 1. So you have 14. You move to the next one. 14 minus 7, left 7. 7 minus 6. 7 minus 6, we get what? 1, right? But 1 minus 4. Our road, our journey with the frequency that we used to enter the table will stop here. we'll end over here in this lane. That's why we link to that item to median 6. It will finish here, so you don't have extra change to continue. So yes, but if you come to the odd number, odd item, right? We did it. You have odd even number, so there are two things. So because it's an even number, we need to refer to an average of two things in the middle. So when divided by 2, we have 29. Then we use that 29 to enter. So 29 minus the first one, 29 minus 4, then it's left with 25. 25 minus 16, you get to 9. 9 minus 16, we mean that the currency that we are taking to enter the thing will finish at this level. But because it's an even number, right? We need to actually see it as we are borrowing an extra currency, which is an extra 1 CD. So if you want to move with that extra 1 to, where will you go? Will you move to the next one, or will still be there? We are still there. Even with the extra 1, it's just like a bonus, right? An extra 1 coin. Even if that extra 1 coins will still be here, we'll still be finishing over here. That's why the first item where our frequency actually finished was on 3. And even after we borrowed an extra 1 to continue, we still stop at 3 because that one that we added will also finish there. So it become 3 and 3. So 3 over 2, that will give us 6. 6 over 3. 6 over 2 will give us 3. So the median for this data set is 3. Yes, there are going to be sessions that will be solving videos and then solving more questions for you. So we pray that you stay with us so that you can solve more questions on that, and we'll get in touch with you when you can comment in your session so that we get in touch with you and raise your concern if you are getting confused with this concept. Yeah, but that's basically the way we find the median. So we have doing it in a way that you don't have to chew, right? But you have to find a way to understand. You have to find a way to a practical way of understanding the concept, right? Yes, look out for more question solving that we'll do for this particular topic, and we hope to get you guys in touch. Subscribe and like, and see you in the next video.